Om
Swartaya
Pradipoditam
Pradipoditam
Pradipodita
Bhagavata
Bhagavatam
Bhagavata
Narayanena
Narayanena
Swayam
Swayam Vyasena
Vyasena Kratita
Kratita Puranam
Puranamurina Madhye
Madhye
Mahabharatam
Mahabharatam
Advaitamitavarshini
Advaitamitavarshini Bhagavati
Bhagavati Ashtadashadyayini
Adhikadhyayini
Ambhatvam Samdata
Samdadami
Bhagavad
Bhagavad
Gita
Gita
Bhavatveshini.
Bhavatveshini.
Verse
Where do
16.
we
Verse
we
16.
start with the
Verse
sentence?
16. Verse
From there you
16.
Mental discipline. Verse 16. Mental discipline. Manaprasadaha saumyatvam.
okay. We have finished the 1 minute. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Manaprasadaha saumyatvam maunamatma vinigraha bhava samsuddhiridhyetat tabo manasamuchyate.
So from walk discipline now he is getting to mental discipline. Walk tapas we have finished, yeah.
Manaprasadaha, mental cheerfulness. Saumyatvam, cheerfulness in expression. Maunam, absence of pressure to talk. Atma vinigraha, mastery over the mind. Bhava samsuddhihi, clean intent. Iti etat, all this. Manasam tapas, mental discipline. Uchyate is called. Mental cheerfulness and expression, absence of pressure to talk, mastery over the mind, clean intent, these together is called mental discipline.
Yeah, actually, this Manaprasada is what we have discussed earlier, is Chitta Prasannata. In Prasada Buddhi, generally Prasada Buddhi means we generally think that the Karma Palam, towards that Prasada Buddhi. So, okay, because the analogy or the example given is in temple, Prasadam, anything that comes as, we have to take it as Prasadam. So, in life also, any Karma Pala, we take it as Prasadam. That is one way of bring it across. But the another thing is that we don't know which we have discussed, that which karma leads to which palam. So we really don't know when the palam comes, whether it is because of what we wanted a karma or just comes. Because we only know when we receive it. We don't know this is palam for which karma. We really don't know. So anything that we receive, we can take it as prasada. That is whatever that comes. So that is one way of looking at it. In the sense, don't look at it as your palam or something. You say anything that I am encountering, I take it with prasada, chitta prasannata. That is where this is coming. Chitta prasannata is cheerful disposition. Then at all times, if anything that happens is if we are able to take it with cheerful disposition, that samatvam, then that will lead to a state of cheerful state of mind at all point in time. You'll be able to maintain that chitta prasannata. So that is the prasada buddhi. Here he is talking about mana prasada is chitta prasannata. That saumyam, that saumyatvam, which he has mentioned also, a cheerful expression in any situation. That is what he says as a mental cheerfulness. And discipline, instead of calling it as discipline, it is a cheerfulness. I think it's a more way positive way of looking. Discipline means there is some control involved, there is some pressure involved, which is not so. You are able to listen to me?
Yes, yes.
So it is not something out of control you are doing that. It is a cheerful disposition, voluntarily maintain a cheerful disposition by your attitude that anything comes is coming from Ishvara, so we accept it with totally. Whether it is what I wanted or what I not wanted, what is a karma palam or not, I accept everything as it happens with the mental cheerfulness. That is how, that way it will be very holistic. It will be applicable to any situation. Yeah.
Manaprasada is mental cheerfulness. The word mental is used deliberately here because sometimes you can put on an appearance of cheerfulness but not be mentally cheerful at all. A discipline that helps you acquire and maintain mental cheerfulness is called tapas. It involves a prayerful attitude and an acceptance of yourself under the situation in which you find yourself.
And of the situation in which you find yourself.
And of the situation.
And of the situation in which you find yourself. This includes acceptance of the past and of the world as you find it. Futuristic conjectures are also resolved in an attitude of surrender and simple appreciation. If an ant can live its life, you can also live your life cheerfully. You do not need to prove yourself to anybody.
Swamiji, here he says sometimes you can put on an appearance of cheerfulness, but sometimes.
Yeah, that is what.
But
that is out of control. That's what I was telling. You don't. Okay, we have to be cheerful. You must always a pleasing disposition. You must always walk with a smile, and all that should not become a controlling aspect. Like it should not be what you call it. What they call it? No, the fake it and make it. The fake it and make it. It should not be out of just you want to show to the world that I am smiling.
No,
Okay,
not
it must come out from within. In the sense, a cheerful disposition because of your understanding of life. Everything is changing. What we have gone through the whole study, everything is changing. You have to. The sense it's all. This is what life is all about. That's sort of and out of understanding, you maintain a cheerful disposition. Anything and everything with a cheerful attitude. You are this thing. And of course, as you understand the reality more and more, anything changes will keep changing. So there is no question of feeling negative about any situation. You have to discern it, even if there is at some point in time sudden and surprising and all that. So even we have discussed it. First it be what, then so what. So you
I didn't get
first
it.
say what, the initial surprise, and then you say so what.
Okay, that you said that. What? So what?
So that way you maintain your poise. That is a sort of cheerfulness which we are talking about.
No.
It is not a conjecture. It is not a show. It is not. You are not showing off. This is trying to put a front, hiding all your displeasure, and put a front smiling face. That will create a lot of pressure. The sense that the inner torpor itself should be avoided. That is why the mental cheerfulness. That is why he says mental. This is just to come from within. By your understanding, by your appreciation of the realities of life. That is how it is. So it should be natural.
What I am asking is, we find that some people, whatever difficulties they are going through, it will not show on their face. They will be very cheerful otherwise. But we know that they are going through a lot of difficulty in life. So I am only asking, but why do they do that? No, they will say, why should the others know?
Yes.
So
Correct.
like
That is what we are not talking about that. Why should the others know? It's a question of what you call you are suppressing. It is better to at least near and dear. You went out. Any problems are there? You discuss. It's always better that way. Don't put a bottle. They want bottled emotions. What they call. Don't do that. That is not a good sign. It will always. Somebody always says we should process it. Anything like that. If you have any problems, process it, vent it out, or neutralize it. Is important. That is one way of. That is the other part of it. This is coming out of even in any difficult situation. Naturally, you have a disposition that you have got a disposition to accept the good with the bad. Everything happens for the good. And also, good and bad always is part of the realities. All those, that understanding, you maintain a certain cheerfulness. That is important. That is not out of a control or putting a facade, what they call facade. It should not facade. It should not be just a show. That is not. And some people have that. What you say is true. Some people have a natural tendency of putting up with things and not showing anything externally, but they will have a lot of pressure inside. That is something that is psychological, that somebody have to resolve it for them. Somebody very close and very near and dear. They have to talk to him, get him out of that sort of keeping everything to himself. rather than discussing. That is a separate thing that we are not talking about. That is not the disposition which we are talking about. Here it is a really inner cheerfulness, chitta prasannata. That is out of your understanding of the world and as a value. That is what we are talking about. That is why cheerfulness is a more correct word than just discipline. That is important. Yeah.
Swamiji, can we say that somebody is, we should not show our emotion to others and not intentionally but by itself. It should happen by
No,
itself.
it's not what I'm telling is, it's not a question of not showing to others. It is a question of how you process it within. From within itself, in every situation, you have got a general disposition of cheerfulness, taking the good with the bad, with an equanimity, a poise. That is how it is, not a question of showing or something. So, showing is one aspect of it. That's what she was also referring. That is a different thing. There is a certain okay, in a different situation we don't have to show it. We are going somewhere, we don't have to show it. But we'll have our own inner circle amongst us where we will definitely be ourselves and show our emotions so that it gets vented, gets processed and all that. So in a different situation, in an alien situation, some people are guests are coming, there you don't show your emotion. So that is okay. You put for that particular period, you just keep it to yourself.
That's what I must.
Maintain a smiling face and do it.
Yes.
That is an occasional situation. That is what you call a sort of etiquette, social etiquette. That is different. That is all very superficial. That may be required, but sometimes they may be required.
Yeah.
But in generally, this is talking about a disposition. In generally, you maintain a certain cheerfulness born out of understanding.
Yes, I understand.
Born out of Shraddha in the whole thing, whatever you have gone through, the teaching, the understanding of life. With that, we have come to a situation where I will maintain this Sattvika Shraddha. In that line, I will maintain a cheerful disposition so that my mind is Chitta Prasannata is there, so that I am able to put my understanding in my living. In the sense, when I have the Chitta Prasannata, in every situation I will be alert. I will not overreact, I will not underreact, I will be yathartham, all those things. So it will all come along with those values. That is what is mentioned here as mental discipline. It's not how generally how we maintain a certain etiquette in society and all that. That is a different thing. That is all fairly superficial. We are not talking about something more basic. This discipline coming out of real cheerful disposition within. So for that, as a value, we should, because that we have discussed before also, how what is the understanding of our reality, what is the Shraddha. In the sense we understand that in life, whatever changing will keep changing. What is not changing is only our reality. On that, there is a certain value for that understanding. So, in order to proceed with harnessing that understanding and making it real for you, these are the values. So, avoid Rajasika, Tamasika tendencies and grow as a Sattvika person. Growing as a Sattvika person is maintaining this cheerfulness, internal cheerfulness, mental cheerfulness. That is what we are talking about. It's a more holistic approach compared to what we normally do generally in society. That is okay, that may be required, but that is not what is being talked about here. Yeah.
These are small things, simple things, but then these things count a lot because it is a simple thing that brings about cheerfulness. It involves living one day at a time. It's a life in keeping with reality.
Yes.
Today is real, tomorrow I may not be here at all. It is not that I worry about what will happen tomorrow. Today I am alive, and what is to be done this day, I just do. The future can take care of itself. If I can manage today, tomorrow I have only one day to manage. This is the truth about life. My whole life, all I need to manage is one day. I have to find food and cook for one day. In fact, it can be reduced to one meal. One day is too long, really, but that is good enough to understand this. Even if I am worried, my worry is only for one day. Yesterday's worry is gone. What happened yesterday was yesterday. It is not today. If yesterday I made a mistake, that is fine. I am wiser for it. I am worried about it today.
If I am
If I am worried about
Today, not only yesterday was spoiled, today also is wasted in worrying about what happened yesterday. With reference to the result of action and what is to be done, certain surrender allows me to live happily.
yeah, living one day at a time is a very, very important aspect. Yeah.
The life of an ant is a good example. It is very busy and it has its own time off also. I can see it just sitting there in one place for some time and then getting busy. Then it seems to communicate something to another ant who is approaching. And that one turns
That
around,
one
and
turns
that
around,
one, that
they go
one
off
turns
together.
around.
and that one turns around, and they go off together for some exploit. Both of them, of a gang of them, go and attack some sugar crystal. It is too big for one of them to manage, but together they can pull the sugar crystal to where they want it and finish off the whole thing. In between, the ant stops. It takes its own time. It does not seem to worry much, even though people are walking nearby. If I can die any time, but it does not seem concerned. It just keeps busy. If that ant can survive not only one, but teeming millions right on the sidewalk, living as I am in this vast world, I too can easily find my livelihood. The future will take care of itself. I may plan for the future, but I do what I can do today. That's all. Today's plan is like this, and tomorrow's plan may be the same, or I may revise it. This one day at a time never goes away. These are the attitudes that bring about surrender.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
there is
very.
a
In the sense, he has taken just an example of a ant and how we can, in the sense, by observing nature, we can learn a lot. Like we don't have to really, in the sense, things are changing all the time, but none of the nature, either animals or plants, seem to worry about it. Just they brave it and they live by. In the sense, they are programmed, but programmed means they are not programmed themselves. They are programmed by a higher power. So the higher power has the intelligence to program them that way. From that intelligence of the higher power, we can also learn to live one day at a time. That's what perhaps is Swamiji is mentioning that. But essentially, what it means is that the saumyatvam, the cheerfulness, we have to maintain. That is part of the shraddha, what do you call it? Satvika discipline, satvika cheerfulness, the sthita and prasannata. How you bring it about by observing nature, by observing other people around, and understanding the reality of life. Everything is changing. Changing will change. No point in worrying about it. So that we only put a value. It is this good, this bad, this sukham, and all that. It's all our own value. What is happening is really changing. The changes we have to accept as they are, without putting too much value into this opposite sukham, dukkam, ishtam and all that. Then automatically we'll be able to accept them with a certain cheerful attitude. That is what he has mentioned. Because this has a basis, as I have always been telling. What has been given as a teaching till the 15th chapter, they are completed. What is your reality? What is the world's reality? Ishvara's reality? What is finally? What is the Purushottama yours has been already completed. Now, to make it real in your life, these are the attitudes that are going to help. The Shraddha in the teaching and the teacher, and in all these things. And how to bring about the Shraddha, should be Satvika Shraddha, avoid all the Tamasika and Rajasika in every aspect of life. Discipline, Vak tapas, Manasika tapas, and Kayaka, in the way in which you conduct your yajna, rituals, office, whatever it is. Everywhere it should be a Satvika disposition, not the Rajasika, Tamasika disposition. Various Asura and all that he has already told. Now he is talking about the mental discipline part of it. So in line with all that Purvapara, whatever has gone by, but keep in mind when we are discussing this. It is very important. Yeah.
then there is a law that what will be will be. Bhavitavyam bhavatyeva. This is an important shock absorber. What is to happen will happen. I do what I can. That is the truth about living. Did you ever think you would be where you are today? If it all happens,
It all
It all
happens.
happens.
Since most of the, which we have discussed also, most of the things, is all phenomenon, which I was telling, the other day, like in eating, we think that we are doing. We are only we are only putting it. Everything, so many things, so many people are working for you to eat a morsel of food. So many people are working before and after. Afterwards, the body works, and before, so many people work. And we only just, and we say that I am eating, I am earning my living by eating and all that. We make a big deal of it. Which is not, that is what we should not be doing that. So that is why we must be able to accept everything is phenomenal. So we are not really doing anything. We are only playing a part, small part. And the part also is being played by our body, mind, senses. It's all part of the set of Jagat, body, mind, senses, part of the Samashti. The Veshti is part of the Samashti. It's all happening. It's all one. It is in the phenomenal world. So then, what I am? I am the being only. It is not that I am body, mind, senses. So that once that understanding takes root, then you will be in that owning up that being. That will be your you will be spending your time and energy to own up that reality, and simultaneously it helps you to accept everything that is happening in your life as phenomenal, like an ant, like the sense everything we have to accept it. Just allow it to happen and do play your part. So the kartrutvam, bhukta, I am a karta, I am a bhukta. That attitude, that sort of that only will create a problem of sukham, dukham, ishtam, anishtam, and all that. So all that, once that identification with the karta, bhukta comes down in your life, the ego comes down, automatically we will live aligned with the phenomenal world. Whatever happens, you will do your part and leave it at that. And that will automatically give you that you are staying with yourself, the chitta prasannata, cheerful disposition, and all will become part of that sort of a living. So bhavitavyam, bhavitavyeva. Whatever happens is happening in the phenomenal world. That is the reality. So that also is this will not associate too much of value, like this nalladu nadandhathu, kettal nadandhathu. So that is what the important shock absorber which he is talking about. Yeah.
It all happens thanks
Yeah.
to the one thing or the other. You find yourself in a given situation because there is certain plan going on underneath. Let it unfold itself. You take things day by day and shape whatever comes your way. You do not allow yourself to be like driftwood. You hold the gear all right, but at the same time you recognize that there is certain enfoldment taking place.
Actually, mistake. It is unfoldment. It's not enfoldment.
Unfoldment taking place in your life, which has its own meaning. That meaning you can discover and face as it unfolds. Let life be full of surprises. If you know that everything will happen according to your plan, you need not even live. Just imagine if you know everything that is going to happen, all the menus for your whole lifetime, what you are going to eat for the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, everything is completely mapped out and made known to you. There is no fun in this. There are no surprises, no turns of events. If you want to have some surprises, make your plans, do what you have to, and leave the outcome to the factors that shape the unfolding of events. What is to happen to you, your own prarabdha and that of others are all intertwined. This is how things happen. If you have understood and assimilated even what has happened so far, you have an attitude that is ready for surprises. That is mental cheerfulness, manaprasada. A number of things are involved in this. Whenever concern or anxiety arises, you resolve it by bringing back the proper attitude. Just remind yourself that it is nice being yourself. Say to yourself, it is nice being myself. In whichever area you have to change, make efforts to change. If necessary, take help, even the help of Bhagavan, in the form of prayer. You do not have to prove yourself to anybody. If another person thinks ill of you, it is his problem. You just accept yourself as you are. It is nice being myself. Have a sentence like this and repeat it now and then like now and then, like a mantra. You will find that you are together as a person. That is at least psychologically the result of the teaching.
Actually, this I have not read this very right now only I am seeing. But I used to say this to my mother every day morning. நான் சந்தோஷமா இருக்கேன் அப்படின்னு எழுதுகோ ராமஜெயத்துக்கு முன்னாடி அது 10 நாள் இது பண்ணுவோம். So this is what almost like that he is saying that every day it is nice being myself. அப்படிங்கறத we should be able to bring it on top of it every day. We do go about. Heavy rains have started here.
Of course, essentially there is nothing but you. You are the only one here, and therefore there is no problem. But even psychologically, it is just nice being myself. I accept myself as I am, totally.
1 minute, I will close the door. The noise is heavy. Yeah.
I do not need to prove anything to anybody on this earth, not even to God. If I had to prove myself to God, then His acceptance of me would become conditional. Then He is not God. He is like any other person. If the person who does not accept you as you are is someone who cares for you and therefore you care for his opinion, what kind of care is that? When someone cannot accept you as you are, what is that care? Suppose a nurse taking care of a patient.
But can you raise the volume? I'm not able to hear.
No.
Because of the rain, I'm not able to.
Rain.
Noise is heavy.
Volume.
Full volume. 100% வச்சிருந்தாங்க.
அவள் முன்னாடி வந்து படிக்கும். சேர் உள்ள தள்ளிக்கும்.
Yeah, okay.
Suppose a nurse taking care of a patient does not accept him as he is. She complains that he goes on scratching, but that is his problem. That is why she is taking care of him. She can tell him not to scratch too much. You are able to hear?
What happened? I am able to hear.
She can tell him not to scratch too much, or put some gloves on him, or cut his nails so that he does not create new problems for himself. But she has to accept him as he is. That is what care is. If someone cares for you, he or she must necessarily take you as you are. That is what counts. Those who really care for you do not have any opinion about you. Just take you as you are. If someone mistakes you, it is his or her problem. Just remember, it's nice being myself. When you get up in the morning, acknowledge that it is nice being alive. You do not take his life for granted. It is one more day for celebration. Plan how you will celebrate today. Even under the shower, you can start celebrating. Like this, celebrate the day with what you are doing. It does not mean that you must bake a cake every day. Anything that you do is a celebration. I am alive today. It is nice being alive. It is nice doing what I do. That's what attitude is. This is Mana Prasada.
Yeah, very elaborately he is explaining that. Yeah.
When the mind has this attitude, there is Saumyatva. Can you hear? This is an expression of the frame of mind, the Antakarana Vritti. Shankara says it is clarity, Swachhata, which is also cheerfulness. Shankara says something very interesting here. Suppose a father's eyebrows are raised when he looks at his son. From this external indication, the boy understands his father's mental state, that he is angry. Then, as a son, he tries to please him. Once the father is pleased, what happens? He has a smile. From this smile, the child is able to understand that his father is okay now. The facial expression reveals what is in the mind. That pleased frame of mind, vritti, reflected in the face is what is called Saumyatva. Thus, Shankara says, from the cheerfulness of the face, etc., the frame of mind is inferred.
We say that no, Ahatin Aladu,
Mugathil
Mugathil Thelin. The same way, same thing.
When Manaprasada is there, there is an external expression evident on the face, and that is what they call Saumyatva.
So that this answers your question. Actually, some people you are saying no that people spite of problem there. So that should not be what. It is not Saumyatva. It should be a reflection of what is inside, the cheerfulness. So first the topic is having a cheerful disposition within, and that should reflect as Saumyatva in your external behavior. That is why he is putting this. Yeah, very important.
It reveals cheerfulness in the mind. From the mouth, eyes, eyebrows, words, the whole demeanor of the person, you infer that he is pleased. The tapas here is, when you are displeased, you bring back a pleased condition of mind which will bring about a smile. This is not a behavioral modification, but a change that comes about by a process of thinking. Mauna is restraint in speaking. Even though it is a discipline of the organ of speech and might be included in the discussion of Vak Tapas, here it is considered as a mental discipline. Why? Speaking properly and sometimes not speaking is possible only when you have Mauna inside. When there are certain words that you want to say and you refrain from saying them, that is Mauna. If the thoughts themselves do not arise, that also is Mauna. Even if they do, by proper thinking, you eliminate the necessity to express them. In this way, the pressure to talk is not built up inside. The effect of the absence of a necessity to talk is externally expressed as Mauna. Generally, there is always a pressure to talk. We build it up. The absence of such a pressure to talk to another person is what is called Mauna. This silence at the level of speech is because of the mind being silent. It is a tapas because it can be accomplished only by discipline. There is an attempt being involved by proper thinking to bring about Mauna. Atma Vinigraha is a master.
This we have seen before also. In the 13th chapter we said, we have seen this.
13.
Again he is repeating the importance of that. Yeah.
Atma Vinigraha is mastery over the ways of mind in general. There is no ambiguity about the meaning of the word Atma here. Since the topic is mental tapas, it can only mean mind. Mauna is a particular aspect of this tapas with reference to speech. But Atma Vinigraha is a mastery with reference to everything. By proper discipline, you gain certain mastery over the ways of thinking and is not carried away by a thought process. Whatever is necessary in following this discipline is called tapas. Any writing that you do to give expression to a feeling that you do not want to verbalize to someone, or any kind of therapy you undergo, is also Atma Vinigraha. 1 minute, Swamiji. It includes anything you do which is useful in getting rid of some pressure. All your emotions have to be put in order, and whatever you do to accomplish that comes under Atma Vinigraha. Anything you do for the sake of mental health is a sadhana. It is not outside yoga.
Yeah, basically, in the sense here in this particular case, it's a Atma Vinigraha means a sort of keeping, resolving things internally, maintaining even the emotions and all, we resolve it internally, and that results in a disposition which is cheerful and helpful around. So it's all purely internal. That is a part of the mental discipline, Atma Vinigraha also.
Bhava Samsuddhi is a particular technical expression. Clean intentions when you are dealing with people is Bhava Samsuddhi. Whether your motives are understood by others or not, they are clean. The motive is at the level of the mind, not action. If the motive is not clean, you analyze why this is so and thereby get rid of the particular type of thinking that allowed such a motive to come. Shankara explains this Bhava Samshuddhi as Amaya Vitva, Amaya Vitva, absence of deception.
Deception. Yeah.
Mayavi means in this context a cheat. He does or says one thing and thinks something entirely different. This nature of a Mayavi is called Maya Vitva. The one who is free from this Maya Vitva, one who is totally free from any deceit in his interactions with people, as Bhava Samshuddhi. All these together constitute Manasam Tapas.
We have that, no? Ullandru வைத்து புறமொன்று பேசுவார் உறவு கலவாமை வேண்டும். That precisely is this which is being talked about.
Now this threefold tapas, Kayika, physical, Vachika, oral, and Manasa, mental, is going to be further categorized as threefold depending on the disposition of the one who is doing it. The same thing can be done, but the way in which it is done and the purpose for which it is done determine whether it is Sattvika tapas, Rajasika tapas, or Tamasika tapas.
Yeah, basically the austerities and all that, like Ravana also did a tapas. And but for acquiring powers to rule over the world and all that. So, what is the intention behind, the motive behind a tapas and an austerity is going to be discussed. That again is categorized into Sattvika, Rajasika, and Tamasika. Anything, a tapas which is going to help you in having a control over your activities and ensure that you are able to do the dhyanam, or you are able to study because you got a certain tapas wherein you are not, you have got a control over your body and mind and all. It doesn't go haywire anytime, anywhere, anything you eating, anything going for any entertainment and all that. So if you on a regular basis, if you have a tapas, austerity as part of your lifestyle, where you ensure that you are a master of your mind and body, and then when it is required to be putting in a particular focus on a particular subject matter or something, it will be available. Rest of the time we can allow it to be free. But as part of the daily routine, if you build in some tapas for only purpose of ensuring that the mind and body is available for my productive purpose whenever I want, so that by doing a regular discipline and tapas, that sattvika attitude of having a mastery over your body mind comes into place. That if you do the tapas for that purpose, it is called sattvika tapas. If you do a tapas just to gain some powers, to destroy somebody or to win over something, all that, then it comes under Asura tapas or Rajasa tapas, which a lot of examples are there in the Purana and all that. Even Vishwamitra doing a tapas and then getting angry with somebody and losing everything. So this keeps happening. Durvasa Muni, all those things are examples of not Sattvika tapas.
Mr. Kumar, please mute your mic.
Only for Antakarana Shuddhi. Basically, the whole topic is in terms of Antakarana Shuddhi, so that your mind is available for your study and your contemplation and your to live the understanding and all that. So, in that aspect, the tapas also is categorized into Sattvika, Rajasika, and Tamasika. That is going to explain now. Yeah.
You want to read, Mr. Kumar? Want to read?
I will read. Yes.
Yeah. Verse 17.
Yeah. If there is noise, you can just tell me.
Yeah. Now there is okay.
Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapasta trividham naraihi afala
akankshi bihi yuktaihi.
Then I told that only, no? Apala kankshi bir yuktaihi satvikam parichakshyate.
Yeah.
Tat trividham tapas. That threefold tapas, apala kankshi bihi naraihi, by the people who have no exception of results.
Expectation.
No expectation of results. Other than mental purity. Yuktaihi, who are composed. Paraya shraddhaya, with total shraddha. Tapas, taptam is observed. Satvikam, Satvika, Parichakshate, they call. That threefold tapas observed with total shraddha by people who have no exception of results.
Expectations.
Yeah, no expectation. Just after seeing X, expectation. No expectation of results other than mental purity and who are composed is called Satvika. Shraddhaya Paraya means with a Shraddha which is complete. It lacks nothing. With full Shraddha, the tapas discipline is observed. Taptam. In what is this Shraddha? It is the Shraddha that what the Shastra says is true. Astikya buddhi. Astikya buddhi. Because of this, all the stipulations that are mentioned in the Shastra are followed without compromise. Not only that, he has the same Astikya buddhi in what the Guru says. In what the Guru says, the words of the teacher are looked upon as true by him. If he does not understand them, he tries to understand them with the assumption that they are true. This tapas is observed by human beings, naraihi, in a threefold way. Trividam, that is rasika, vachika, kaika, vachika, manasa. Kaika, vachika, manasa. Okay.
Yeah.
Who are the people by whom the tapas being discussed here is done? They are not doing it for the sake of a result like security, pleasure, or punyas to be conveyed later. They are free of all.
We enjoy it later. Instead of dharma, artha, kama, it is only for moksha. That is what it means. Yeah.
To be enjoyed later, okay. They are free of all such expectations with reference to results. They are the apala conscious.
See, apala, akankshis. Basically, apala meaning not expecting pala. Akankshi meaning there is no real pressure from within to enjoy that palam. They are not expecting the palam, and there is no pressure also inside that he is desperate for a palam. Both are not there. Apala, akankshi. So they are very clear that they are doing it only for antakarana shuddhi to be done. Whatever I need to do, I am doing for antakarana shuddhi. Antakarana shuddhi is for what? Ekagrata and chitta naishchalya, for what? For studying and understanding the reality of the Shastra as conveyed by the Shastra. That's true. My focus totally is on that. So that sort of a Shraddha, Apala, Akankshis, they are called, they are doing it only for mental purity, Antakarana Shuddhi. They are called Satvika Tapas. That is called Satvika Tapas, whether it is Kayikam, Manasam, or Vachikam. That's what he is telling. Yeah. They have a mind. From there we have to start.
They have mind.
They are free of all such expectations in reference to themselves.
Yeah.
And are doing
Correct.
it only for mental purity, antakarana shuddhi.
Yes.
They have a mind which is composed and committed yukta. Those who have been well taught say parichakshate. The tapas of this sort done by people like this is satvika. Next, Bhagavan talks about Rajasika tapas, verse 18. Satkaramana pujartam tapodambena chaivayat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chala madhruvam.
Yeah.
Verse 18. Satkara mana pujartam, for the sake of receiving honor, respect and worship. Cha eva, and indeed, dambena, with ostentations. Yet the tapas which kriyate is done, tat, that, phalam, chalam, Talam, which is unsteady. Adruvam,
Adruvam, not last.
Adruvam, not lasting. Iha, here, Rajasam is called Rajasika. The tapas which is done for the sake of receiving honor, respect, and worship, and with orient and ostentation, which is unsteady and not lasting, is called here Rajasika.
Swami, excuse me, Swamiji, that earlier they have a mind which is composed and committed. They are free of all expectations. Yeah. So that means what I want to know is, suppose you just do your, like a duty you do, or your prayer. Is it also
tapas which you undertake, like a Mauna Vritam, or even a particular, like what they say, no, that Ekadasi, Vradam, whatever, any tapas you take, or even any japa you take, anything you take, that the only motive is not to gain anything, not to gain any power or something like that. It is only for gaining the Antakarana Shuddhi, the Chitta Naikchalyata. You must be able to be with yourself. At any point in time, you are able to sit and meditate. That sort of a thing, it is possible to grow on you only when you build in tapas as part of your routine. So, tapas should become part of your routine, where it maintains, brings up a certain level of Antakarana Shuddhi. Antakarana Shuddhi means what? Antakarana Shuddhi means Chitta Naishchalyam and Ekagrata. Focus and focus on a subject which is Shastra, Shravanam, Mananam, where you are not going to gain any knowledge or information, where with which you are going to use it in a great Sabha and great Gita and all that. It's all meant for only your own understanding. For that, so that is the focus. For that reason, you are doing the tapas. You are undertaking the tapas for that reason, to gain that Antakarana Shuddhi and Chitta Naishchalya. Then when that is the motive, there is no other Pala Akanksha, then it is called Satvika tapas. So, tapas, there are people who are doing tapas, and but the other two type of tapas is now explaining. For gaining certain powers, gaining certain, okay, if I do this, I will get nocturnal powers. I'll be able to heal people. I'll be able to overpower people in my argument. When I go out and discuss, I'll be able to mesmerize people, hypnotize people. All those things. People have such ideas. By having this sort of a valimai, I can, even in the Puranas, there are a lot of such examples. Dhruva, Vishwam, and all that. Tapas is undertaken for their own Rajasika, Tamasika purpose. That he is explaining now. Satvika only we are actually speaking, we are interested. Rajasika and tapas, Tamasika tapas, we have to avoid. What you are supposed not to do is going to tell that. You don't. The two, just part of it we have already explained. That is the key. The key is to get a Satvika tapas, to get Antakarana Shuddhi, Antakarana Naishchalyam and Chitta Ekrata, and for that you take up a certain tapas. You take as a part of your routine. Because if you don't take up any tapas and all that, what happens is that you think that, okay, I'm living a simple life. Anytime I would say, no, it doesn't happen. Because slowly and steadily, without tapas being part of your routine, the discipline will go. And mind will not be able to focus. Suddenly you decide, okay, now I'm going to this temple, I'm with that, and I want to sit and do. There's nothing much. Puja is going on, Abhishekam is finished, Archana is going to start. What am I to do? Then I will look around, whom to talk to, or what else I can do. Instead, at that time, you will be able to immediately sit and focus and meditate on any sloka or something. So, anytime your mind should be available for the sadhaka, ekagrata, that is called Chitta Shuddhi. But that doesn't come overnight. It comes out of tapas on a regular basis, which should be part of your daily routine. That is called Satvika, which he has already explained. Now we are going into Rajasika tapas and the Tamasika.
No, but suppose, see, I'm asked to do some ritual daily, like say some production, the temple. We even had some time back. So daily I used to do pradakshina. So that no sankalpa, but they say if you do, if you have something in mind and if you do it, that will happen. But
that is what I am saying.
Personally,
there is a pala akanksha.
Pala, but whereas suppose I don't look for pala, I only feel that it is good to do it, and I just do it. But at the same time, I don't have that chitta ekagrata, that when I do production, thinking of God and it's not like that. But at the same time, I do production on and off thinking of God, not always.
Hey, that's okay. That is the tapas is only a method. Since initially you may not have it, when you build it in your routine and when you do it very deliberately without doing it mechanically, that will eventually, and you don't have any pala akanksha, then automatically it will become a satvika tapas. What difference may not immediately happen. You have to take it up. That is why you have to do it regularly. Tapas means you have to do it regularly. The key is no pala akanksha, not for any particular except the result of antakarana shuddhi, chitta ekagrata. That is not called palam. That is only what you call. That is you are readying it for understanding the reality and all that. That is antakarana shuddhi and chitta ekagrata are not called palam, because in that there is no worldly expectation. Your expectation is only at the end of it understanding life and being one with God. That is not called pala akanksha. That is reality. So that is not called pala akanksha. So that part of it is there. If no other pala akanksha is there, and you are taking a tapas, which is in the sense in terms of kaikam, manasam, like pradarsanam can be kaikam, and chanting can be vachikam. Mental means that you should don't chant out, just think of Rama or something like that, Rama Shabda, and mentally you focus on that. That is manasika tapas. That you will also separately explain. But the principle behind this is no pala akanksha, and you do it with shraddha and totally focused on that, not mechanically. It's not allowed to make it become mechanical. And then that tapas will help you to gain that chitta ekagrata and chanta karma shuddhi. That is the whole focus of that, what you call sattvika shraddha. Now sattvika tapas, now rajasika tapas.
But then sometimes, but the acharya says, acharya, or even when you go to the temple, the Gurukul says, no, have some sankalpa. That is only good.
That is a problem. That is a problem. That is there. We have the sense that is not. It's not within the purview of this our study of Gita or Upanishad. It is no, Gita or Upanishad does not talk about it at all. That kamya karma or any tapas or any this thing meant for a kamya karma, meaning that he has also mentioned, not for dharma, artha, kama, not even punya. Forget achievements of something, not even for punya. We are not even looking for punya. That sort of a tapas. We are artha kama, the dharma, artha kama is already crossed. We are looking at moksha. This subject is moksha purushartham.
No, so that is why I'm asking is I'm confused. So when they say that
is why they are mentioning. It is all there in our Vaidika Sampradaya. Mostly all our rituals and karma and upasana, even upasana, that is what we are talking about, tapas and all that is meant for dharma, artha, kama.
But can we do without it? We can do without it. Without the kama. Can we do without that?
Yeah, anything you do, the same discipline which you do without any dharma, artha, kama in view and only for antakarana shuddhi, then it becomes a tapas which we are talking about.
Okay.
That is how it is. Yeah, the same thing. That's why I am telling. Even sankalpa, they may say so many sankalpas, but you say sankalpa jnana vairagya siddhartham, parameshwara mamo upakta samasta durida kshayartham jnana vairagya siddhartham. You take your sankalpa internally. You don't have to tell them. They will say aishwarya abhivyudyartham. So many things they will say. More dakshina you give, more elongate the sankalpa. That is a different thing. That is they are doing it. Okay, you cannot in a sabha you cannot criticize them. They have been doing it for years and all that. We cannot change their. But you be very clear in what you are doing it for. And that sankalpa you can say internally. Nothing wrong in that.
Okay.
And in terms of tapas also, whatever tapas you do, japa you do it for anyway. You are going to do it separately alone. And you are doing it alone, you can happily do it with that particular view. That chitta ekagrata, antakarana shuddhi only, I am doing it. That sort of a sankalpa you have, and then do the tapas. Then it will be fruitful. And it will not get mechanical also. Because as you do it, there will be a prayojana. As you do it, it's not pala akanksha. It's not going to happen something later. Right now, you will have that chitta ekagrata. So the prayojana you are able to see. So naturally, you will pursue it more eagerly. Because you are seeing right now, it is inherent in what you do, that Shraddha. That is the Shraddha we are talking about. That is why it's not for Iha Amutra Phala Bhoga Vira, not for that. Purely for here and now, all this Shraddha. That is the advantage of this. Yeah.
Fine.
Swamiji, I have a question. Many times, I do it, but I would like to generalize and say, many times something is supposed to be done. We do it. I do it thinking that whatever phala is there, let it come, otherwise I am not bothered. Number one. Number two, if I don't do it, I will get some negative thing. I will get some negative thing. So is that phala akanksha?
In the sense, see, that if I don't do it, I will get some negative thing, is again out of fear you are doing, not out of to be done karma. You do it, you restrict it to your, the first thing what you are saying, to be done I do, period. Not because if I don't do it, I will get some pratyavaya dosha. That is, that again, out of fear of something, that is not necessary. Do it, I have to do it, this is in my situation, I am supposed to, I am very clear, in this particular situation, I am supposed to do it, I go ahead and do it, period. That is the right way to be done. What is appropriate to the given situation is totally aligned with, that is what you call, you are totally aligned with Ishvara Srishti, no Jiva Srishti. You don't bring in your own individual Akanksha, Rartha Kama thing. You are aligned with Ishvara means that is to be done, karma is done properly. And there is no punya, no papa involved. That it may, avantara phalam may be there. Because of doing a good deed, somebody is benefiting, he may pray for you and he may get some punya. That is okay. That is not, you do it because you are supposed to do it, period. So there can be some avantara phala, good things and all that may be there. But that is not your concern. Your concern is you are doing because it is to be done. That is that we should stop there. Then it becomes yoga, karma yoga it becomes. Because it is to be done and it's Ishvara Srishti. Listen, you are aligned with Ishvara's order. That is both ways you can look at it. Yeah.
Swamiji,
Yes.
actually for anything, we should not expect any karma or any puja, whatever we do, we should not expect any phala. Krishna says, karmanyevadi karacha ma pali.
Yeah, correct. Because phala, which we have discussed many times, phala is always adrishta. We don't know which karma leads to which phala. Okay. So in such a situation, what is the point in doing a karma for a particular phala? You can do it for a particular result right now. That's famous when we say, when we take 2 steps forward, you will move 2 steps forward. That is prayojanam. That is what is inherent in the karma. So that is the way we live. One day at a time also we have discussed here. Live one day at a time. What is present? Or be in the present all the time. Not in the future or the past and all that. Because that is how we have grown. Basically, we have grown with the kamya karma, looking expectations and all that. That has been the motivation for us to even progress in life and all that. But that's all okay till the time you grow. But once you start looking at the realities of life, when you are getting into this Vedanta, or when you get into this Gita and Upanishad and all that, those things are out of already. Dharma, Artha, Kama is already crossed. We are looking at Moksha Purushartha, which is here and now. In the sense, I am looking for the freedom. And right now, as I do things, I am free. Because I am not bogged down by the Phala Akanksha. So as I do it to the extent possible, to the extent I know, whatever I do. That is what is karmanyeva phala adhikara hate ma. That is where freedom is in the karma. Otherwise, there is no freedom. If your phala akanksha is going to drive you to do something, you have no freedom in your action. There is freedom. You are already surrendered it to the phala akanksha. Whereas the freedom is kartum sakyam, akartum sakyam, anyatava kartum sakyam. The freedom is 100% that is given to you. You already lost it. Whereas if you focus on the job at hand, do it to the extent possible, to the best of your ability, and only for the purpose it is meant for, here and now, keep doing that freedom, you are always free. At all times you are only doing acting. Even the enjoyment is also an action. We call it bhokta. Because we say that is because of the good deeds I did, I am enjoying this. No. We don't know really why you are enjoying this. Because you are enjoying this, some other problem also may come. Like you like gulab jamun, it's a punya palam, so you are getting 2 gulab jamun. It may create some other problem. So it's all very transitory, very ephemeral. What we think as palam and dukkam, sukkam and all that, everything is transitory. So that sort of when we get to that level of understanding, those things are out of the window. They are not. That is why that Dvaita is gone. The opposites we don't look at. We do, okay, we have that Shraddha in that is a Sattvika Shraddha, and do whatever I need to do. And with my limbs, the limbs are part of the Samashti. My body, mind, senses are part of the body, mind, senses called Samashti. In that, I do my part. Just I do my part. Nimitta matram bhava savyasaj. In that situation, you will do what is to be done. That is what finally he says also. All my confusion is gone. Now I will do whatever you say. He tells Bhagavan. So that is freedom. That is the real freedom actually. As we live every day, we should have that freedom. Not after life freedom. We are not talking of that. Freedom here and now. That is moksha. Moksha is not in the future, now. Understanding also is now. This understanding does not happen in the future. No, I will understand after 2 years. Can anyone say that? Understanding has to happen here and now. So that is what we are looking for. So every moment we live that way. Yeah.
Actually, palam is a side effect. If you do everything sincerely.
Palam is palam. That is what famous Ramanas. Karturagya prapyate palam. Karma kimparam karma tajjadam. Palam is karturagya. Who is karma paladata? Ishvara. So pala is in the Ishvara's domain. Ishvara means what? Samashti. Means the order. Every action is connected to every other action. Every event is connected to every other event in life. So it's all a big pandal of longitude and latitude. So many things happen, and a point where a longitude and latitude cross, that point a particular thing fructifies. That we call it palam. But that is purely the domain of Ishvara. So, Karturagya prapyate palam. Karturagya is known, Ishvara. So we should not be bothered about it at all. Because that is reality understanding. Not it is a sort of it is a value initially, but finally it is a reality understanding. Yoga helps us leads us to jnana. Karma yoga in this Gita is meant for Brahma Vidya Jnanam at the end of it. Now yoga is not for only yoga's sake. It prepares us for jnanam. That is the difference between the yoga philosophy and the karma yoga in the Shastra. Yoga there is yoga. Atha yoganusasanam is an end in itself. Here yoga is meant for chitta ekagrata, antakarna shuddhi and chitta naishalyam, so that you understand and own up your reality as here and now I am Purnam Brahma Ahamasmi. That is the whole thing. That is what we are aiming for. When we do this, we must understand that is the purview. That is the tattvaryam behind with which we are doing this.
Here we can say yoga is some sort of meditation. It means whatever we say. Suppose now we are reading Bhagavad Gita, so it's a sort of meditation.
It is a part of the either you can part nididhyasanam, you can say, or you can say Shravanam or Mananam. It's one of these three categories. Either it is Shravanam, if you get something new understanding out of this particular what we are discussing today, it's called Shravanam. When it clears certain doubts which you had, then it is called Mananam. And if you don't have any doubt and Shravana Mananam is true, what you as you read it, you are able to do meditation upon it, nididhyasana. So it can fall into any of these categories depending on where your understanding lies. Whether it is the Shravanam area or Mananam area, nididhyasana. That is how it is.
This type of worship is done by people not for antakarna suddhi, but purely for satkara. That is, for the purpose of being considered a good person by others. Shankara says it is done so that people will say he is a good person, an ascetic, a brahmanya.
A brahmana.
Brahmana ayam sadhuhu tapasi brahmanaha.
So he will be called by others is a ascetic, is a good Brahmana. I am meaning that person. Sadhuhu tapasvi Brahmana. They will be expecting that people will say that. For that purpose, he is doing that tapas.
So, I mean, in Bhagavad Gita, only Brahmins will understand better, no? Other type of people.
No. Brahmins means what? Brahmana here is defined as Guna Brahmana.
No, in this context, generally I am telling.
In this context also, a good thinker is called a Brahmana here. Not a Brahmana by birth. It's a Guna Brahmana. By understanding. He has raised his level of understanding, crossing Dharma, Artha, Kama, and is looking for the reality understanding of life. So that anyone who is able to do that is a Brahmana. The Guna Brahmana, not by birth or by doing activities. So that is not, we must keep that in mind all the time. Brahmana here is an ascetic, means it's purely, it is in the sense Guna Brahmana. That's what it is. Yeah. So but here, the Rajasika Shraddha fellow, he may not even understand. If he is doing it for the purpose of getting a name, he may think that by doing a particular yaga and putting all the Panchakacham and Kudumi and all that, then I will be recognized as a Brahmanan in life by people around. That sort of a Rajasika Shraddha. In the sense, it's purely for others' sake. Expectations from others. They will worship me, they will respect me. That sort of a, not even in the sense, it's purely like putting an action. Going on the stage and acting like a Brahmana. Something like that it is. It is not even a Guna Brahmana. And that's what it is. Yeah. So I don't think we should get into that. This is what he means. What he means is that he is only putting up a show to get the name that he is a good Brahmana. That's all. Yeah.
He wants to pass as all of these. He
practices as all of this. Wants to pass as all of this. Yeah.
He practices austerities so that people will say, look how disciplined he is, how nicely he talks, how he eats so sparingly, etc. This is exactly what he wants. He is doing tapas for no other purpose. It is just another form of proving oneself. This is called satkara. Satkara mana pujartam.
Satkara mana pujartam. Mana means abhimanam, like respect. Pujartam, pujaniya, I should be respected by others. That's sort of satkara, mana, pujartam. That's what he says, yeah.
He will also appear in a particular form that will reveal that he is a great tapasvi. And he will not do this tapas quietly, sitting at home, but in a public place where he can be noticed. He will have accessories of a sadhu, like a kamana dalu.
Kamandalu. The Kamandalu in their hand, no? To show that they are Kamandalu.
The Kamandalu in his hand, and will demand that when he walks in, everybody should get up. This is mana. He makes sure.
Mana means respect. Expecting respect.
Mana, yes, mana. Respect, okay. He makes sure that everybody recognizes him as a tapasvi and that they all prostrate to him and receive him with respect. And he will insist that the highest seat is offered to him. If he sits lower than anyone, he will think he is disrespected. This is called mana. He is a tapasvi, so that everybody will worship him, and he keeps his feet ready for that. Pada puja, that is washing, anointing, and offering flowers, etc., to the feet is something people generally do to the sadhus. But this person poses as a sadhu in order to get that done. It is exactly the reverse of what it is supposed to be. Some people really want that kind of result for their efforts. I knew one person like that. In one particular month, Margasirsha,
meaning Margari
Masam, okay. Margasirsha, we used to go around the town every day, early in the morning, and sing bhajans. There is one chief. The organized one walks in front of the group, Sometimes, as we went round, people would come and offer namaskaras. The leader seemed to enjoy it and look forward to the namaskaras. Some people love it. This is not something that is only for discussion. It is all true. There are people like that. They want respect to be shown to them. This is all because they have no self respect. This type of tapas is done by this person out of damba, just so that he can get recognition, just to make people know that one is a tapasvi, so that he can get all these honors. When he does tapas, he makes sure he has an audience.
Yeah, read the footnote. Read the footnote.
If you don't respect yourself, you want others to respect you so that you can see yourself as respectable. And there is always someone to show that respect to you. But there is no growth and no possibility of antakarana suddhi here.
Yeah, this is the important point. Since whether this sort of a tapas will lead you that antakarana shuddhi, chitta naishalyam and all that, you are all the time worried that who is in front of me, who is at the back of me, whether I am respected. All the time your focus will be on the respect you will get and all that. So it's all doesn't even serve the purpose of tapas. The tapas itself will get distracted by all your expectations only. So that is what it is very obvious as he puts it across. This Rajasika tapas is not going to be helpful. That is very obvious in whatever way he clearly explains. Yeah.
Swamiji, some people use sympathy as one of the reasons for gaining popularity. Some people use sympathy.
All these things are there. That is what anything you put up as a show just to get the respect of others, sympathy of others, self-pity, all that is part of that. The Rajasika tapas tamas. Only thing is that we cannot be we have to focus on what we are doing rather than, even though Swamiji he explains that in a way, but it not be advisable for us to focus on how to judge others using this topic. This topic, you should not judge others.
No. I'm not
being
like
what it is. That's all. We have to learn that our tapas should not be focusing on all these areas.
No.
That's what
My question, Swamiji, is you should also not use, for example, I myself should also not be using anything as a reason for something in order to gain something. That's what
Correct. Yeah, correct. That is what
the intent of the message.
Exactly what. Yeah.
That tapas is called Rajasika here in the Shastra. Tat tapas Rajasam Proktam Ta. Iha. Proktam Iha. This is a tapas that is born of Rajaguna.
Rajoguna. This is Rajoguna category. Yeah.
It is Kalam, unsteady.
Chalam.
It is Chalam, unsteady, and not lasting. Adruvam. People.
That is there in the verse. Adruvam. Actually, Dhruvam means Satyam. Adruvam means not Satyam. Changing. Not lasting. Yeah.
People may give him some respect for some time, but later they will find out that he is not a real tapasi, not a highly disciplined, evolved religious person. Whatever opinion they had will change. This is because when one is not a tapasvi and poses as one, the responsibility is too
Enormous to maintain.
Too enormous to maintain. One day or the other.
Maintain that facade. Yeah.
One day or the other, he will burst out. Somebody will fail to respect him the way he wants, and he will get angry. Then people will understand what tapas he has. Therefore, that tapas is not going to last, neither in terms of its practice nor its result. Swamiji, but it's a norm. The morning, early morning, people go around singing bhajans. Some group will come with.
Yeah. That is there. That's
Kalangai
Swamiji himself has done it. At Chennai, Swamiji himself has done it. He was there in Mambalam on V. Krishna Swami Ayer's house, who was one of the persons. And in their house, they used to do morning this Margari Master Bhajan and all that. Swamiji himself has gone in Chennai, going around Vilchivirthi and all that. That is what, from his own life, he is talking how people were behaving and all that. He's calling from his experience, recalling from his experience. Yeah.
In our temple, there's a regular Unchavarti on all Saturdays.
Yeah.
One person sits there.
It's a good the sense people. Actually, Unchavriti is there are people who live on only the Bhiksha, something like Bhikshadanam only. You get the thing and only that only you will cook and eat. That is a tapas. It is basically a tapas for that particular month. You will not eat anything. Whatever I get as Unchavriti only, I will eat on that day. So that is one way. That is one discipline. Like you are totally the only Bhikshadanam. You are not. Something like what do you call it is no, you live on the you are totally putting yourself at the hands of the samashti at Ishvara. Enna Ishvara enna kudukraro saapadu adhaan saapadu illata kedaiya. That sort of an attitude. That is a very lofty attitude. So with that only that Unchavriti has started, and that people in some temples and all continue. Yeah.
It is a
Understand.
understand all the problems that people can have. If one is concerned about all this and wants this satkara, mana and puja, what about the real thing that is there to be studied, to be understood, to assimilate it? There is so much to know. Those things all go down in the drain. When one is worried about these small things.
See, the whole thing is, it is counterproductive. Tapas you are doing, but when you are in the context of Shastra and context of study of Gita, you are doing the tapas for what? Getting this so that you are in a mental frame where you can study, internal infrastructure is ready for studying, understanding, assimilating and all that. If you are all the time worried about who is respecting me, whether people are respecting me, whether they are doing puja to me and all that, the tapas itself will not be very valid. You will be always lost in that. So where is the question of you are getting a ekagrata where you can study and understand things and all? It will be all counterproductive. So even though we may call it tapas, there are a lot of such things happening in society that we should avoid. Or what we should avoid only is quoting all these things. We should not get into any sorts of, we should, knowingly or unknowingly, we may have such attitudes. That we should drop off. What we should drop off, we should know. What we should do, we have already discussed. What we should drop off, we should avoid getting it into our personality. That also is mentioned, Rajasika. Now Tamasika Tapas, which is something worse.
I'll read.
Next Bhagavan.
I will read.
Okay.
I will just read the verse, then you can start. Next Bhagavan talks about the Tamasika Tapas. Verse 19. Moodagrahenatmano yadpidaya kriyate tapaha parasyot sadhanartham va tattasamudahratam.
Tamasam. Yeah.
You can read.
Muda grahena, due to deluded understanding, atmanaha pidaya, by afflicting one's body, va or parasya of another, utsadanartham for the sake of destruction, yet tapas, the tapas which kriyate is done, that tamasika udakritam is called. That tapas which is done due to deluded understanding by afflicting one's body or for the sake of destroying another is called tamasika. Mudagrahena means with a perception that is deluded. This is because of a lack of discrimination about oneself, about what is to be done, and about what is proper and what is improper. None of this is very clear. With this lack of discrimination, one afflicts oneself, atmanaha, one's own body with tapas. It afflicts not only the body but also the mind and does not produce very much result. Standing on one leg for a length of time or lying on a bed of nails is the type of tapas referred to here. Of course, there should be a lot of people to watch him. Only then will he do that. One can see all types of tapasvis at the Kumbh Mela. But tapas is sometimes done for the purpose of destruction of another person. Parasya utsadanartham. People who have the disposition of an asura or a rakshasa like Ravana do a lot of tapas just for the destruction of their enemies. Such a person wants to gain some power or get hold of some spirit so that he can send it to destroy people. This is what is commonly called black magic.
Black magic. Yeah.
Black magic. There is a mantra shastra for all this, but I do not think it works these days. Some extraordinary asura tapas Asura tapas is required for that, and I do not think anyone is doing it now. Tapas of this kind is called tamas. Now the three types of tapas, satvika, rajasa and tamasa, in terms of the guna, that is predominant in their performance. Have been told. Two types of tapas, rajasa and tamasa, are mentioned so that we can avoid them, and only one satvika tapas is really tapas. In the same way, giving charity dana is also threefold in terms of guna. That is being enumerated from the next verse onwards.
Yeah.
Verse 20, Satvika dana, Datavyamiti yad danam, Diyate nupakarine, Deshe kale cha patre cha, Taddanam satvikam spritam, yad danam, the charity which, Datavyam iti, with the attitude that is to be given, Anupakarine, to one from whom one does not expect a return, Deshe, in the proper place, Kalecha, and at the proper time, Patrecha, and to a worthy recipient, Diyate, is given Taddanam, that charity, Swatikam Sritam is considered Satvika. That charity which is given to one from whom one does not expect a return, in the proper place at the proper time, and to a worthy recipient, thinking it is to be given, is considered Satvika charity. Charity that is given with the attitude, it is to be given, Datavyam iti is Satvika dana. A particular situation calls for giving, and that gives rise to the response. This is to be given by me. Like the appreciation of Karma Yoga, this is to be done by me. The same attitude extended to giving when it is done, when it is to be done in charity.
The same attitude extended to giving when it is to be done is called charity. The same, what to be done karma is called Karma Yoga. One of the karma is charity, giving, without any other agenda. This is to be done by me. I am in a position to give, so I give. There is, thank God, there is a recipient. I am given an opportunity to give. Thank God, there is a recipient, proper recipient to take that charity and make use of it. So I salute God that I am happy that I got an opportunity to give, so that because there is a recipient to receive, and it is to be done, so I give. Period. If that is the attitude, then it has become part of the Karma Yoga, even the charity.
This is also therefore Karma Yoga. What is given may be some article, or it may be of some help extended in the form of effort. It is the attitude with which it is done that makes giving Satvika. Whether it is Satvika or not is also determined by the kind of person to whom it is given. Charity that is Satvika is that given to a person whom you do not expect to help you in return. Anupakarine yad
diyate. In the sense, you know very well that he may not even know who has given. Okay, so he is not going to come back to you and say thanks and all. So, it's typical what we say, no? That is the sort of charity which is being talked about as Satvika's charity. Yeah.
Shankara says this can be a person who is incapable of returning your help, someone very old or feeble or impoverished, whose circumstances are not likely to improve much. It's clearly a one-way giving, but he says this type of charity is also given to someone who is capable of returning the aid with no expectation of return. Even though he is capable of giving, you do not expect him to return your help. That is called dana. Otherwise, it becomes an investment. Only dana that is given without any expectation of return, even thanks, is real giving. People often complain, I gave him a gift and he did not even thank me. Or they say he never remembers me. He never writes. This attitude is a problem. Here, however, even though the problem to whom you give is capable of giving,
the person to whom you give.
Even though the person to whom you give is capable of giving back, that is not the expectation. It is said that when you give with the right hand, the left hand need not know. What is given is totally forgotten. That is real giving and is called here Satvika Dana. It is also important that the person should be a suitable recipient, Patra. Patra literally means a vessel, and the one who receives is like is like a receptacle.
Receptacle.
Like a receptacle. Therefore, he is also called a patra. The person should deserve the help that you extend or the gift that you give. You cannot simply give just because somebody asks you. You have to see whether the person deserves it or not. Shankara also says that it should be given to Sadanga Veda Paraga. Person.
No. Shadanga Veda Paraga.
Shadanga Veda Paraga. A person who has the knowledge of the 6 disciplines auxiliary to the study of the Veda.
Basically, in that context, Shankara meaning in the context of Vaidika, there generally all the karma rituals are basically among the Vaidika people. In that, a person with Shadanga who has got all the Niruktam, Vyakaranam, like what generally they have all these 6 disciplines, Veda Angas. If somebody is meritorious in those things, they are the worthy recipient of any dana. So they will be generally around. So find out such people and encourage them, give them dana. That is in the context of Shankara. Basically in the terms of in their sabha and all that. That's what he says. But in today's world, it is basically anyone who deserves it, who needs it. So if we find that he has a need, I have got a capability to give, we should give it. That's it. Yeah.
Not only that, giving is to be done at the right place and right time. Deshe Kalecha. This is part of the religious culture. Shankara says it is to be given at a place like Kurukshetra. It is considered a place where one can accumulate punya. That is, it is a punya kshetra. In such places, people come to take a bath on certain days. Kurukshetra is a place near Delhi where there is a large pond that is considered sacred, in which people take a religious bath, especially on the day of a solar eclipse. 12 years.
Kumbh Mela type. And that's why he says every 12 years and all that. Yeah.
And every 12 years, when Jupiter moves into Aries, there is a Kumbh Mela during which time thousands of people come for a bath. And wherever there is a temple or a place to sacred,
Place of sacred bathing, like a river.
Bathing like a river, it becomes a place of pilgrimage and is considered a punya kshetra. Rishikesh is a punya kshetra because it is at the foothills of the Himalayas, where the river Ganga comes down to the plains. Similarly, Haridwar and Varanasi are punya kshetras. And a place of confluence, Prayag, like Allahabad, where the Ganga meets the Yamuna, is a punya kshetra. Sometimes by association, a place becomes a punya kshetra like Ayodhya, by association with Sri Rama, Vrindavan, by association with Sri Krishna. Or because of association with a saint or some event recorded in the Puranas, a place is considered sacred in the minds of the people. There's a whole literature in the various kshetras in Indian culture. A holy place has its own Sthala Purana relating the events that makes the place sacred. Any sacred place is the appropriate place for charity. In fact, it is mandatory that one gives dana at such sacred places. So, the dana given at such places to the right person at the right time is considered satvika. It is also important to give at the right time. Help has come on time. It is of no use giving first aid treatment after 7 hours. The person has to be attended to immediately. Charity also has to be done when it is needed. There is also a religiously appropriate time to give. Shankara mentions the Punyakala for giving dana as Sankranti, the time of the winter solstice when the sun begins to travel north. This Magara Sankranti is considered a good day for distribution of food. Grahana, the time of an eclipse, is also a very sacred time for distribution of money. This is done even today. Dana is a very important thing in the Vedic tradition. Even today, food, cattle, land, house and clothing are given as part of a ritual, and lastly a daughter is given away in marriage. That is the highest dana of this type. But Vidya dana, giving knowledge, is higher than that too.
Yeah.
Now Bhagavan describes the Rajasa dana in the next verse.
We will take it up later. So Vidya dana, there is a Jnanam Pavitra Miha Vidyate. There is one sloka also. Sadrisham, Jnanasya Sadrisham Pavitra Miha Vidyate. The dana of Vidya is that there is nothing equal to that. So Vidya Danam is considered to be the best Danam. nahi 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 jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. That is the shloka. Nahi jnanena pavitram iha vidyate. So jnana, dhamma vidya dhanam is supposed to be the best, and comes other dhanams also. Of course, here he has talked about sattvika dhanam in terms of very ritualistic, where we are all kshetras and other things. But we can say what is the principle behind this is we must be able to do it whenever somebody is needed. We must be able to do it without having an agenda, whether he is going to help me, whether he is say thanks and all that. If it is needed, I have the capability, I give it. And that is sattvika dhanam. The context, any context wherever we are, that is how we should assimilate sattvika dhanam.
पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम्